Okay, lights, camera, action. Table task number 40. Yeah, we're going to demonstrate it. This is the first one of the year. Boom. There's the number in there, so you know what it is, at least number-wise. What is this task? Same one we started with last year. It is learning to use a tape measure. Learning to use a tape measure. Right. Can you see that? That's written on the sheet. Again, this is a unscripted, unedited YouTube version for you to access to understand how to do this table task. This is the first one of the year. It's number 40, learning to use a tape measure. Okay, I'm going to move this. And I'm going to show up here. Here is a tape measure. This is brand new. It's still got the packaging on it. Here's a 16-footer, 25-footer is probably the most common. Here's my nice Milwaukee one that I love. It's 25-footer as well, really heavy duty. It's got magnets, got some other features. Well made. Here's another one, Stanley, pretty popular as well, 35 feet. So there's different lengths, different reasons why would you use different lengths and different sizes. So with that said, buy a good one. Workforce is a cheap one, still have one. And these are all pretty good brands. DeWalt, Milwaukee, Stanley. I don't work for them, but I'm just telling you so you'll know. So we're going to go over this script, which is what you're going to get when you do this task. Again, it's number 40, the first one of the year, 24-25, and it is learning to use the tape measure. And underneath it, you're going to see written on this page on every single one, these are your sub-learning tasks. In other words, part of this learning is you're going to know these 5 things. So let's go over them now so you know what you're going to practice doing when you show me that you've learned this. Okay, so the very first one is learning how to lock a tape measure and use it as a ruler. You guys all know what a ruler is. It looks like this. It's just a stiff tool, but it usually comes in 1 foot like this or 3 foot. Here's another version of a scale rule right here. It's also called an architect's rule. Triangle. So these are different type of version for measuring. This is just conveniently rolled up inside here. Every craftsman knows a tape measure. It's probably, again, the most common tool used by all craftsmen and skilled trades because measuring is the most important thing to learn. So it says here, number 1, learn how to lock a tape measure and use it as a ruler. So on every tape measure, except extremely cheap ones, like this one, wow, it's old and cheap, been around a while, you'll see this button right here. You lock it and now it holds it in place for you, and you can use it as a ruler or various ways to accurately measure things. You can make arcs with it. There's different features you can use it as you lock it, but primarily you're creating a ruler. It doesn't necessarily have to be a foot like these, but now you've locked it in place. So when you unlock it, hold it, unlock it, and gently put it back in place, okay? That's locking the tape. So realize that the tapes I'm going to show you and give you to practice this will have this locking feature on it. Practice using it. Most people don't know it's there. This one also has this little belt clip. Isn't one I have on the sheet, but so you can hook it on here and carry it around you. Burning an inch for accuracy, very, very important thing to know, because this part of the tape, although this is fairly new and well made, this part is riveted on here, and it gets loose, and sometimes it gets bent, or it's dropped. All kind of reasons why this hooking part, where you hook for accurate measurements, gets messed up. And then you need that accurate measurement. So what do? Normally I would lock it down to where it's a short ruler here. And if I wanted to measure the thickness of this wood, which is fairly thin, now I would put the 1 inch mark here. Instead of fooling with the end, hold it with my finger underneath here, put the 1 inch mark right there, and counting this is exactly 1/4 of an inch. That's burning an inch. I'm going from the 1 inch line for accuracy. Now if I want to use the same technique to measure the length of this, same idea. Unloosen this locking feature, I lock it, so now I can use both hands. I'm accurately putting the 1 inch mark here and holding it. I'm going all the way over here, boom, that's exactly 24. Because I gotta remember, if I pull this back, oh, I gotta subtract an inch from whatever measurement I had. It showed up as 25 when I put it on the 1 inch mark, which is called burning an inch. It ends up on 25, subtract 1, this is 24 inches long. That's how you use that idea. When these ends of these tape measures will get messed up, trust me. So you have to learn accurately either with it this way, or especially when you're measuring. If I'm going to measure this 3/4 inch, I'm putting the 1 inch mark on there like a habit, and I know it's 3/4 of an inch, just like that. Unlock it. Learning the proper technique to close the tape. Oh, I gotta learn this, please. When you open your tape up, and the longer you open it up, the faster it's going to come back. You need to put your finger here and slow it down to where it comes in. Now this tape is a little older. I don't know if they have a feature where it automatically slows down. They do have tapes now that do that, but normally they're like this brand new DeWalt. They come out and they'll just go really fast in. It practically feels like it's going to hurt your finger to hold it. That's why you slow it down from way up far away to where it just goes in gently, and boom, the rivets here stay intact. Please learn to close it properly. Don't sit there and play with it like this. No, you want this tape to last and be useful for you, especially because you use this hooking feature all the time. Okay, number 4. There's 5 of them. Using the tape hook in different ways for measuring. Again, these all have a tape hook. They hook on the end. You can measure. I can measure across this table. I can measure the length of this table. I can measure this, hooking it on there and measure it. But what if you're measuring something and you can't hook it? Well, lo and behold, on this tape hook, they have a little hole. What do you think that's for? It's for a little nail that you put into whatever material you're using, and then you hook it on there and you can pull it like that. When you don't have the ability to hook it on something, you can create a nail or a screw or something like that that you can actually hook right in there. So that is there for that reason, and they all pretty much have that as well. Last but not least, inside measurements. Let's see. Here's a box right here. This is actually a surveyor's box. I can measure the outside, hooking the tape. It's 13 inches. But if I want to measure the inside, I can put it in the inside and bend it. But sometimes that doesn't give you the most accurate measurement. The most accurate measurement is when you put it in here and then you open it up to where the tape is all the way in here, and then you lock it. Then you look at the measurement that goes right where the tape goes inside the body. This is exactly 8 3/8, and then I add it to the length of this. Well, where's the length? It's written right here. This is exactly 3.5 inches. The good tapes all will have a measurement on the back side where this clip is, telling you how long this measurement is. So this will give me, if I add that 3.5 to 8 3/8, a completely accurate measurement to the inside of this tape. That is using the tape for inside measurements. Again, you can bend it, that's not the most accurate. Use the width of the tape body itself, which again is written on here for you to use that technique. Okay, those are the 5 sub-learning tasks on the back of your sheet they're going to get, and I'm not always going to go over this, but the first one I am. It has questions that I'm going to ask you as a group and as individuals. So make sure you go over these. This is something we didn't do last year, but I've put in the questions in the back of here. You need to go over them together. These are the questions I'm going to go exactly off of to ask you why you would do this. Why would you do this? Demonstrate. Sometimes it's a demonstration question. They're found right here. Make sure before you call me over to demonstrate you as an individual and as a group together that you know how to measure and do these sub-learning tasks, that you've gone over the questions as well. Because if you can't, yeah, I'll have to come back when you learn what the answer is, because if you do this part, you should learn this part. That is the very first table task of the year. Signing off.